The propaganda model, developed by Noam Chomsky and Edward S. Herman, explains how ownership and financial interests shape the content we see in mass media, ensuring that the news we consume ultimately serves the interests of the political and economic elite. According to this model, the media functions not as a neutral informer of the public, but as a large-scale propaganda system. Through its deep ties with powerful institutions, it filters and frames news in ways that protect and reinforce existing power structures. Let's take a closer look at the first two key mechanisms, or filters, of this model. The first filter is media ownership and profit orientation. Most mainstream media outlets today are owned by giant corporations or are part of even larger conglomerates. These media companies are run by wealthy individuals who are themselves part of the economic elite. Naturally, they have a vested interest in maintaining the status quo, the same system from which they benefit. Because these companies are for-profit enterprises, their ultimate goal isn't public service, it's maximizing shareholder value. That means if objective reporting threatens profits or disrupts relationships with advertisers or powerful institutions, it's often softened, reshaped, or simply ignored. In addition, these media firms are deeply embedded in the corporate and political world. They have ties to banks, multinational companies, and government bodies. So when a news story might threaten those interests, it's more likely to be filtered out or altered to fit a more acceptable narrative. The second filter is advertising, the main source of revenue for most media companies. Audiences don't typically cover the full cost of producing news through subscriptions or purchases. Instead, advertisers subsidize the media. This creates a major incentive to produce content that's attractive to advertisers, not necessarily to the public good. In this system, the product being sold isn't the news, it's the audience. Media companies sell our attention to advertisers, but advertisers are selective. They want access to wealthy, desirable audiences, and they don't want their ads placed next to content that might be controversial or critical of corporate practices. This means that media outlets often avoid serious, investigative topics, especially those that challenge corporate or political power, and instead focus on entertainment, celebrity gossip, sports, and crime, which draw larger audiences while keeping advertisers happy. In short, the propaganda model argues that the media doesn't primarily work for truth or public awareness, but for profit. And in doing so, it tends to promote the interests of those who hold economic and political power, shaping not just what we see, but how we think.